everybody, Alex is here with another episode of Broken Cards of Hearthstone. And today we covering Priest, and that's probably be a long episode because Priest own one of the most broken cards of all kind, if not the broken cards. You don't believe me? So let's get started. So I start with the silence. I don't think there's anything like super wrong with what this effect do. This is basically not complain about like this card specifically, more like about silence at all, because word silence is really bad description for what this card do. I believe there was another game which do something similar. An effect was called Magic Shackles, which is much better name because silence is literally ability you target basically stop. It's no longer unable make noises. Okay, what this mean? That's basically mean if you have a taunt, then it stop being taunt because taunts basically work away. They are basically noisy, they are annoying, and because of that, enemies are unable ignoring them and then must like take them down out because they are just too annoying. This is how town's supposed to work. A probably best example of this is this guy. I mean, you can literally see like it's literally named Annoyotron, which is like word based on word annoying. So yeah. Okay, so for this card, it actually makes sense. If you silence him, he's no longer down. That makes sense. But why he also lose his divine shield? Can you see where this is going? Like that's really make no sense. And there is actually more cards. Like for example, we have for example this card, which giving plus attack on other minions because obviously he's raid leader, which I guess he have some sort of experience with combat and he can like take like lead the others and he can giving them orders, you stay here, do that, do this, and thus they get bonus to attack. So if you silence him, he no longer can do this and his special ability is suppressed. For minions like this one or towns, it makes sense. But why this effect like special abilities? Like if I'm an adventurer and I cannot level up and I'm silenced, does this mean I no longer can getting experience? I don't think so. And same with the many others. I mean, yeah. So this card is like this complaint is not about this card specifically. It's more like about silence. It's really non-fitting name. Other than that, let's move and do some stuff. So first, we have this card, which I actually put this on my top 10 overpowered card. So I don't think I'll repeat myself. It's just overpowered. That's it. But there is this card. This card is actually broken or on multiple levels. It's not because it's. I don't think it's actually overpowered for what this card do. It's pretty reasonable price, but I have problem with two things. Two things which I don't like about this card. First, it's giving you copy of enemy cards, which in some cases really feel like a slap in the face. Give you example. One of the first legendary cards which I ever create was Hogger. Back in the days, I really like this card and I use it a lot. These days, I don't using him too much because I don't think he's bad, but like cards which I have right now are just better. And what's happened to me a few times, I play against Priest and I have this precious card, and I actually don't buy this card like from get this card from pack which I open. No, I will craft it. I did craft this card with arcane dust, and it's take me about 3 months That's almost half. No, 3 weeks, which is basically like more than half the months, and it's take me a lot of time to make this card. But after I've been done, I feel this like really satisfaction, like I really did something. And then you play against Priest, and he played this stupid card, which just steal my precious Hogger, and it's really feel like a slap in the face. It's something which feels really, really unfair. I think much better be if he get like if this um I don't know how I explain this. It's just feels wrong. Another thing which is really bad about this card is every class have some class specific cards. And these cards are basically a reason why you choose this class. Which basically mean if you play against Priest and he can get your class specific cards, then what is the point to have these cards on top of that? If I have some very specific strategy, give you example. For example, here is my heal master, which is basically priest who is highly specialized on healing spells. As you can see, I have many cards which can a heal or get some benefit if they are healed. To do something which they are healed or they heal themselves. If I have this card, then I can get some random cards with my enemy, which it's nice, but the card is can be card which is not fitting to my strategy. So why I even trying? Why this card is even here? Or also, as I said, you have some class specific cards, and this card to get you option to get those cards. So what is the point? This card effectively defeat of the purpose having cards which are unique for specific class. Because with this card, druid can priest can basically cheat and get card which he don't supposed to have. That is wrong, and also like I mentioned before, it feels like a slap in the face, especially if he gets some legendary. That is really, really bad. And there is another thing which I hate a lot. This spell, and there is actually more spell and priest arsenal who doing it. This one is first when I mention this. I don't go too deep with other cards. But can anybody please explain to me why priests have a mind-based spells? I mean, like priests are they are psionic now? Like why? And this is not only card who doing this. I mean, you have cards like Mind Blast, you have Mind Control, and so many cards. Like, why? I mean, priest, he is a like healer. He is supposed to like heal people. Why he have a mind spell? Since when are priests psionics? That make no sense. And there's so many cards which, in my opinion, just don't supposed to be, or just change their name. I mean, this feels so wrong, and I repeat myself probably multiple times because priests have multiple these cards, and they are just. I don't think they are bad cards. I just saying like. I mean, granted, they're two type of. I mean, I would say like internal force, which are like life force, mind force, and spirit force. Okay, so I guess they have this philosophy like if priest is good with life and spirit, so he can do mind too. I guess, but honestly, I don't see this kind of thing. I mean, I only game which doing something similar is Might and Magic series, where like priests have a mind spell, mind magic, and it's don't fitting there and don't fitting here as well. I don't know. It just feels weird if like priests are psionic now. That's just too wrong. So This card is not overpowered, but definitely is very broken. Move on. This card. I think this card is a little OP. Like for one crystal, get ability like this. No. I mean, if the card gets 3 hit points, that'd be basically okay, but they give it a 4, which I think it's too much. Granted, you can do it only for you heroes, but if you place this on, let's say, somebody who have a Wind Fury, then you can get like ridiculously fast hit points, and I think it's a little too OP. It's not a bad card, it's good card. I think it's great card. Just I would slightly reduce its effect. I think it's a little overpowered. Little. So let's move on. So this is another card which I mentioned in my top 10 overpowered cards, so I don't repeat myself in just saying it's overpowered. Here again, Psionic Spell. Priests are not Psionics. Please stop do that. And also this card is a little overpowered. I will reduce like the match to 1. It's just not fitting the priest. So we have a Resurrect. This card is actually pretty good. It's a little overpowered, but because you get random minions, so it's not actually that bad. However, here we are. We have this card and this card. These two cards are probably most broken cards in entire game. I absolutely hate these two cards. Absolutely and completely, because these two cards are broken on so many levels. Don't believe me? So let me start, because this will take some time and I absolutely cannot express my hatred for these guys, because there is literally there is no words which can express how much I hate these two cards. So let's start with the small stuff. Name: Shadow Ward Pain, Shadow Ward Death. What the hell is the Shadow Ward? The name of the cards make absolutely no sense. I understand, like, it's sometimes take a little bit of work, like make some decent name for card, and believe me, if somebody can say like, dude, like, come down, it's just a name, it don't have any effect on gameplay. Which, if this be just name, and we talk about different company than Blizzard, then I probably agree. But this is Blizzard Entertainment, the Blizzard which create one of the most famous games like Diablo, StarCraft, and recently they get some others. What I'm trying to say, they set really high standard for their game. I mean, I remember like in a StarCraft 1, there is this area called Space Platform, which is basically literally a platform made in space. In the platform, you have like resources, and the platform is like artificially created thing, but there is resources. In user manual, there is a small line which is dedicated only for purpose explain how this happened. So this is a really good demonstration how Blizzard is focused on details. So much. They like have like StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 are games which pretty much reach of state of almost perfection. So what happened here? I mean, don't make me wrong, it's a small thing like complain about name of the card, and this is probably not last time when I'm complaining about this, but they simply set of their standards really high, so I expect they continue. But Shadow War Pain, Shadow War Death, what is it? That make no sense. Make absolutely no sense. That's the first problem here. Second problem with this card, its effect is restricted by damage. Why or how in the world is supposed to work? I mean, Specifically with this card, um, imagine like you are a warrior and you have some really huge, really good weapon like sword or axe. And because your axe or sword, because your weapon is so good, that means you can die by this card. How exactly this work? Uh, like priest, like throw some sort of slowly moving pulse of energy on you, and if you don't have, if your attack isn't high enough, then discard, not discard, discard. If you have like really high attack, you can like cut it with your weapon, and that's make you immune. That's make sense for this card. But this card, like if I instead my like really good weapon, like put it down, take some real sucky low level weapon, and my attack go down, and suddenly I get immune against this card. Again, that's absolutely make no sense. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't even mention another problem with these two cards. They are both overpowered. Granted, they are restricted with the damage, but that's actually make no don't mean anything because that's just excuse make them cheaper. So they are still overpowered. Another thing, and that is like a final thing which driving me nuts. Like honestly, I like going slowly crazy with this. Why priest have a killing spell? Why? He is a man of spirit. He is a freaking priest, and he's supposed to heal people. He's supposed to heal people. He's supposed to resurrect, give them blessing, doing that kind of stuff. That makes sense. I expect if this spell be on some class which is known for doing some sort of dirty tricks, such as Warlock, Warrior, or like Rogue, that will be like fitting, but this spell don't fit in the arsenal of priests so badly, especially because that stupid name. It's so out of the place, and it's absolutely like why priests even have this spell? That is so frustrating. And what's actually make this work? Priests have two of these cards. I think that is the more than a rogue, which is known for killing things. Same with the warrior, warlock. Pretty much almost any other cards have usually one this take down anything down spell. Priest is a healer, and he have two of these cards. Two, which means he can like kill like do some. There's actually many cards which are really strong, but only because they have low damage they can be really easily taken down, which is extremely cheap and extremely frustrating. If I play, for example, um who for example this card, it's a 6 card and can be destroyed by 2 card only because it has low damage. I hate this so much. I seriously cannot explain how much I hate these two cards. And don't tell me there is this shadow thing. No, no, it's not. You are a priest, you are blessed with the power of the light, so you should supposed to help people. Don't tell me that is some sort of shadow thing. I don't buy it. It don't work for me. Okay, it's a piece of crap. It's really very stupid excuse for giving the priest these two cards. I absolutely hate these two cards so much. And if priest is supposed to have cards which is kinda like this, I have much better cards. Okay, this is only a fictional thing which didn't exist, but I should take these two cards away and replace them with a different card. And card which I imagine supposed to be like a replacement for these two cards will be like this. It'd be a spell who cost about let's say 5 crystals and be called Divine Punishment. And what this card's supposed to do, It's a card which can be used only against minions, not the heroes, and do minion exactly same damage as his number of hit points which Priest lost, which will be perfectly reasonable. First, Priest basically call Light or his god or whatever the priest like serve in a World of Warcraft, basically punish somebody who like cause trouble his servant, and the punishment is equal number of hit points which he just lost. So if you like don't take any damage, this can do nothing. It's useless. But if you lose like 10 damage, you get 10 damage to any minion, which effectively is enough to kill pretty much any minion in the game. Which I think be like really good, and it'd be much better replacement. If such a spell exists, it'll be less overpowered. It feel much like better fit in the style of gameplay and like image of the priest. If this make any sense, it'd be much better. It'd be more better fitting. It might have better name. It's better in everything. These cards are just embodiment of frustration, and I don't think there is any single other card which I hate so much like these two cards. It have terrible name, its functions make no sense, its name make no sense, they don't fit into arsenal of the priest, they are broken on so many levels. I hate them. Absolutely cannot stand these cards. I never place this card because it just feels wrong. Like if I play my heal master, this is pretty much how priest supposed to be. This is pretty much perfect example how priest supposed to be. I have lots of healing spells, lots of buffs. That's it. This is like real priest. This is how is perfect example how priest supposed to look like. At least I think so. Feel free to disagree if you think otherwise. I don't really care because this is my video. So yeah, man. So let's move on. So we have this spell, which this spell is little like controversial things because I really love this card, despite the fact it's pretty much very overpowered. Like number of hit points for two crystal for this card is ridiculously high, and it can heal 3 hit points and at the start of the around, and it can be really well combined with the divine spirit in their fire, which can give you like really powerful card really early for really cheap. Sorry, this card, it's overpowered, but I still like this card. So we have this card, which honestly I don't understand why this card is really here, because honestly I don't think like Priest is not really good at it for that rattle. He had not too many death rattle cards, so I don't think this card is bad. It's just weird. I don't know why. Um, yeah, this is actually a little complaint, not just this card specifically, but the all bots. Because honestly, I don't think robots fit in the fantasy world. I mean, at a first, like when Warcraft as a franchise start, there was a few mechanical units um like airships, some simple steam powered machines, and now we have a like fully developed artificial intelligence. I don't know. I just don't think this kind of things fit in the game, like not just a breeze, but at all. It's just I don't think they are bad cards on this card specifically. I just think like robots in a fantasy world? Really? Am I the only one who thinks this is kind of weird? Okay, let's move on. We have this card, this card, this card. They are mostly okay. We have this card. Card is another card which is broken. There's actually many cards which doing this. This card is broken because it can do damage you and your enemies. I mean, in certain circumstances, this card can be good if enemy have a lots of minions on the battlefield and you don't have any. And yes, it's good. But the situation actually, like if you don't, then I don't know. I just don't like these cards, and it's really surprising. There's still many people who like using these cards. This card is just a one of the many, and I don't know. Well, I mean, to me, like using cards which can hurt your own minions, it's just bad. I mean, with the priest, it's actually not super bad because you can actually heal your own minions, but for others, not as much. Fortunately, this is priest spell, so that's at least something. But another thing which is really weird, like after you use it, you basically give this card to enemy. Like why? This is basically you cast the card which can help your enemy. Am I the only one who think this is kind of weird? This card is this card is actually not overpowered. I think this card actually deserve be like mentioned here because this card is actually not broken. It's card which actually it's pretty decent. I like this card. It's good. This card as well. And we have another psionic card here. Like, what the hell? I mean, I can understand I can, like, destroy any minion with this price because how expensive this card is, but take control of your enemy. That is a little too much. I mean, card should be like more expensive or called some sort of negative effect for you. Like I don't know, discard some card or maybe you can like switch your card with something. I don't know. I think it's a little overpowered. It's not bad card. It's just a little overpowered. And again, it's a psionic card. They don't supposed to be in a arsenal of priests. So let's do on craft cards which I don't have. Here is another broken cards because I think for cards which cost zero, it's a little too strong, and also it can help your enemies. Again, same things. I don't really understand why anybody using. It. Again, in certain circumstances, this card can be helpful, and it's actually I use it few times before I recycle it. But I just prefer card which helps only me and not my enemy. So yeah, I don't like these cards. Let's move on. This is another card which is little overpowered because it's restore at 3 health, and if you are not healed, you get Light Warden, which is a card which, far as I know, cost how much? Another crystal. So that's basically like only excuse to basically do that is like if you are still not healed, which if you use it for heal your hero, then most likely you won't be healed. Like this card is like little ridiculous. He's another broken card because what make this card broken is the fact is do damage both you and enemy hero. I mean I can understand like it's used for doing damage enemy, but you as well. And why this card is even epic? I mean, its card even isn't like that good. I mean, if you and your enemies, if you and your opponents, if you are both like damaged and he had like three remaining hit points, then this card can be good because if you immediately defeat your enemy, then you don't even care. I mean, and on top of that, I mean, you can, even if you don't kill your enemy, you still can heal yourself, unless he play also as a priest. But I don't know. This card is just weird. Another example card which can help, or in this case, hurt you and your enemy. Here is another broken card which I don't even know why this card here is here. Despite the fact this card is, well, this card actually don't feel like it's psionic, even if based on the name, it can feel this way. This card is like weird because A, it's affect everyone in the game. That is the first problem with this card. And second, this card is really difficult to get advantage. It's really like this card seems like absolutely pointless to me because in certain circumstances it can help you, but sometimes it can hurt you. You need really specific combination of cards. Like for example, for example, you have cards which have some useful special ability which make them strong, but they have low they are low on hit points, and you want them to be like more resilient. You want to be like you gladly sacrifice their high damage over their low hit points. So you'll be gladly if you can swap their health and minions. So if you have many of these cards on the board, and at the same time your enemy have many cards which are exactly opposite, then is this specific circumstances this card is good. It can help you a lot. But only if situation is like this. This card is really difficult to plan. This is really difficult to form any sort of strategy, and it's I don't know. This card seems absolutely pointless to me. Okay, convert. Um. Okay, this card is another example card, which is like another example card which can be described as a slap in the face. Basically, this card doing exactly the same thing as this card, but instead of get some random card, it get you basically some specific card. So this card is technically even worse. It can use specific card of your enemy against him for two crystals. I mean, the card has its own mana cost, so it's not necessarily overpowered. But I don't know. I don't think enemy should have options like using your cards against you. That's like I said, it feels like a slap in the face. Seriously, stop that. We have this thing which oh, this card actually isn't that bad. So we have this card which uh oh, this card also isn't bad. Okay, here's another card of like shadow form. Again, I really don't think this card is necessarily overpowered. I just saying again, these cards really don't fit in the like profile of the priest. I mean, if priest like decide like abandon like light and go path of shadow, I can imagine that that's possible become some sort of dark priest. But you must be like completely dark. You cannot say like when one butt in the two chairs. You are either light and good, or you are dark or evil. You cannot do both. Don't take like this thing like shadow slash twilight. No, it don't work for me. It's not fitting the priest. Other than that, it's not bad card. It's actually pretty good card. It's just don't fitting in the arsenal of the priest. He is another slap in the face card. I don't repeat myself. I said enough about this card. This is just another card which doing pretty much same thing. So please stop this. It's really really bad. Um, this is actually a pretty good card. Actually, I think it's a little overpowered. Mind games. Okay, this is another card which is A psionic and B overpowered because like you can get some really low level card, but you can also get some high and it's I don't like if this card be it's used or if used against me because in both situation it feels wrong. Because if like you play this card against me, then you can put I don't know like Kel'Thuzad for free crystals. Like seriously, granted you can get some really really low level card, but same time you can get something good. And again, it's a slap in the face because you can use my own minion against me. I hate this stuff. Shadow Madness. Okay, this is another card which is. This card is not necessarily overpowered, but again, I don't understand why it's depend on damage. Like, it's damage, it's your weapon, it's what basically define your willpower. So if I get better weapon, then I get boost for my will and I can resist this spell. And again, like Shadow Madness, that name make no sense, and it's also psionic card. So I think I said my reason why I hate this kind of card. This card is another card which is broken on multiple different levels. We have this card, which this card is actually okay. Again, like this card, technically you can say like there is this thing with shadowing, like priests don't supposed to like heal people, but this card is its own priest, which mean it has nothing to do. It's just another priest from different god or different religion, and that's actually okay. Pretty much. There is, however, few spells. I don't know. I personally don't use this card because I prefer if I can heal. If I want to do damage, I choose different set of cards. So that is it. This card is actually, this card is actually okay. So let's move on. This card is okay. This card is really good. Holy Fire. Okay, this card is little OP, just a little. But I actually noticed interesting thing, and that is Hearthstone. And if you doing damage or heal, the game is much more generous with the healing than damaging. Like you total hit points which you affect with this card is 10, except you do 5 damage, 5 healed. I think it's a little overpowered. But overall, they are much more broken cards. Another card which is really, really broken is this one. Because this card can easily annihilate everything on a screen, especially high damage cards, which At first, I don't understand why Priest ever had a bombs. The cards needed better name because name really don't fit in. That's really bad name for this card, and it's another thing which I don't like this card, and I wanna. I used to have this card because I actually didn't realize um do deal damage minion. It's equal. It's like it's actually affect all minions, and there is actually no signs of doing this. I mean, if you don't know this, then you can think if this card do damage, if this card affect only your enemies, that'd be good. That will be really, really great card. But because it do same thing to you, that's make it like really, really, really bad. And I don't like this card because it's another example card which can hurt you as your enemy same time. Here we have Shadow Priest. Again, I don't understand why this card is restricted by damage because again, I don't think damage can affect if somebody can control you or not. That's just make no sense. And again, it's Psionic card, but at the same time, it's a its own priest, so it's not that bad. So only thing which is broken about this card is fact it's. I mean, if you wanna go restriction with the cost of the card, not damage, because damage actually make no sense. Specifically, there are like few things which can be affected like with damage or hit points, but most of the time I think like restrict the card with the cost instead of stats a better solution. Other than that, it's not that bad this card. This card I almost wanna say this card is OP. And it's kinda is, but at the same time, for this price, gotta have really, really bad stats, which kinda compensate effect. So I don't think this card is like overpowered. It's actually a good card. It's just controversial. I mean, like, you could like say it is overpowered, and at the same time you can say it's not. There are arguments for saying both. I don't think it's that bad. I think this card is pretty much okay. And that's cover priests. So yeah. So let me repeat myself. Please don't make priest psionics. Don't telling me there is some sort of shadow thing. I hate this and like for God's sake, do something with these two cards. They are absolutely worst card in the game. And I hate these cards. Really, I do. But that's everything for now. So I think for today we are done. And in next time we covered Rogue. And Rogue have a I don't think Rogue is that bad. Well, we will see. But after we did this other class, I don't think from there things be much easier. Because I think I pretty much cover most broken cards in the game for here, things hopefully be only better. So yeah, for today I'm done, and thanks for your time, and I will see you later.